Welcome to the Motivate, Lead and Inspire podcast. My name is Hakeem Mr. Impact, and in these episodes we discuss the relevant challenges facing young people in the UK, which are initially aired on my Thursday evening radio show on colourfulradio.com. Be sure to visit www.facebook.com/Hakeem Mr. Impact. That's MR for Mr, where you'll find the rest of my podcasts. Have a great day.
Yo, this is Colourful Radio, MLI Jam with me, Hakeem Mr. Impact. It's Thursday evening once again, and we're talking to Clara Cowen. I can never get the Clara Cowen. That one gets you. And we're talking to the pagey as well. And we've got to the point in your story, Clara, where you're waiting for a call after your interview. Tell us where you were and what you were doing when you got that call.
This is very weird. I was doing like a temp job for a production company. So I was sending out tickets to a show around central London, and I was on a run to a hotel to deliver these tickets when Rebecca called me. And I was like, well, I hope no one's watching how long I'm taking to do this run, but I've got to take this call.
Yeah.
And then, Rebecca called me and asked, how did you think it went?
I wonder where she learned that from.
God.
Rebecca, I love you. Big shout to Rebecca. You know what? You need to message her, see if she's listening to this, because she'll enjoy this conversation. That's Rebecca Leslie, who's our outreach and participation manager, Impact Dance, each and every time. Yeah. So you took the call.
So yeah, and she asked me how it went, and I probably gave some sort of maybe politer version of that. It went terrible.
So what were you thinking? Wait a minute. So you got this call and you're talking to Rebecca. What are you thinking? You thinking she's going to say, oh, unfortunately, you didn't get the job?
Yeah, 100%. Well,
no doubt in your mind.
No doubt in my mind. There was no situation that I felt I could have come away from that interview and someone would give me a job out of it. So what are you trying
to say about our interview process?
It's intense. No, I think because I felt that words were just that I was trying to speak really quickly and that words weren't really coming out my mouth very well.
In the interview?
Yes.
Right.
So I think that I felt like I was just sort of like panicky kind of vibe to everything. And yeah, so when she asked, I'm sure she just asked, oh, how do you think it went? In my head, it was, so how do you think it went? Like,
yeah, sure.
Come on now.
I know that.
I'll just let you know, it's a tried and tested thing I've passed down to Paige and Rebecca. I always, whenever I ring up someone, rather than go, oh, by the way, you got the job. No, I'll ask her, how do you think it went? Because they say to me, oh, I think it went really, really, really bad. I'm like, okay, interesting. They say, oh, it went amazing, like, and it's also interesting. I just like to see where they're coming from. I like to see how they talk, how they react. That's still part, for me, that's still part of the interview process.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Because, as well, for me, we won't get Paigey rolled up about this one. Like, if I ring up and I go, yeah, so how do you think it went? Yeah, it went all right. I'm like, that tells me, like, okay, you're out of interview mode. You don't sound very enthusiastic.
Okay.
So yeah, I may have to just go, okay, yeah, cool. We'll call you back in a few days' time, because I was about to offer you the job, but actually now you're very unenthusiastic.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, you're not trying to catch people out, but you're also trying to find out what they're like, kind of out of that kind of zone as well. And for me, if I want to offer you the job, there'll always be imperfections. Same with me. Yeah. If I go for a job, I'm not perfect, but I want to know that you're enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I want to know that it's not a stopgap. I want to know that, it's not, I'm not being rude. There are obviously jobs you go in to fill gaps, but this is not a stopgap. So I want to know that you're excited and you're going to give 100%. Okay, so carry on.
So yeah, I think it went on for a while about how I didn't think it had gone very well,
wow.
which was
like half an hour.
I don't know how long. It was one of those things. I think I was just so stunned to be getting the phone. I think I expected just an email. I just expected like an email like, you've been unsuccessful. I think that's what I thought. So even the fact that it was a call and that I was in the middle of doing something else, I was just a bit kind of thrown by that, and then obviously thrown by the question on top of that. Yeah. So it was just a sort of scrambled mess. And then I think she said, oh, well, that's interesting. Well, we've decided we'd like to give you the job. And I think I just went, are you sure? Really? Really? Okay. But yeah, I was so chuffed. And she was sort of, do you want to take that? I think at the end of the conversation, it was like, do you want to take it? I was like, oh, right. Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
That sounds very fun.
This is really interesting, talking about this. And I don't know, anyone listening to this, whether you're listening to it live or you're going to listen to it down the road as a podcast. It'd be really interesting for you. Excuse me. It'd be really interesting for you to kind of like Do you think this is more about your own self-image, esteem kind of thing, thinking you're not good enough? Kind of what lends to this kind of like you were so sure that you weren't going to get the job? Where do you think that's coming from? And you know what? We all got stuff. But it'd just be interesting to see if you think genuinely you just weren't good enough, or whether that you reckon there's a backstory as to that, or there were other things kind of mixed in with that.
I mean, it definitely came from a place of being sitting there in the interview and just hearing these like words kind of tripping over themselves to come out of my mouth. It definitely came from that. But I think all through my life, I've tended to. I used to wind up my siblings actually, that I would sort of cover myself by saying it went really badly, so that if it did go really badly, I was like, well, I told you so. And then if it didn't, it was like, oh, surprise. And I think maybe it kind of started from something as tactical as that, and then just became kind of the norm. Right. Like I did it for like all through school exams. It was kind of a thing of like, oh yeah, I don't think it went that well, I'm not really sure, we'll see, kind of thing. And then I got straight A's. So it was kind of like, yeah. And my siblings used to be like, oh yeah,
so we don't. This is something that can get in the way moving forward.
I think it would only get in the way if it was something, if it would affect me at the time, if that makes sense. So if I'm sitting in the interview going, I haven't got this.
Yeah.
In the interview or in the situation, then I think yes. But if it's only a thing that I'm putting on afterwards, or putting on it, it's not a great thing to do. I'm not like promoting it. I'm promoting self-doubt. But I think it's never affecting me, I think, at the time. So no.
Okay. I'm just seeing we're creeping towards the top of the hour. Tell us then, once getting the job, tell us what you feel you've learned from the job. Tell us what you've learned from the experience of being in the Impact family. And if you can as well, kind of, if there's any pointers you can give to young people out there looking for jobs, looking to enhance their career, especially in the arts, not necessarily on the stage, but behind the scenes. Give us a little summary of the experience to date.
I think the main thing that I've learned...
And I just want to be really clear that this is not about... Obviously, you're going to talk about the work we do and stuff like that, but I really feel that what's really important for you to communicate to the listeners is your journey and what you're learning as an individual, and that people can connect with you. Because obviously we've been around 25 years, Impact Dance, doing what we need to do, and we're always here for anyone to come in. But I want people to be listening, and maybe they have a doubt about something, and you just kind of talk about it, and they go, oh, maybe I shouldn't have a doubt. Maybe.
I think the biggest thing I've taken from it is, like, I used to think I was quite on it with stuff, but having worked around you guys and working for Impact, it's like a whole other level of just knowing what's going on all the time, and information that you've got to hold in your head, and just being on call all the time, and being able to just kind of sort of problem solve in a way that I think I've always been quite bad at not using my initiative, but I think having the confidence to use my own initiative. So like having initial, like being faced with a situation and then having an initial response, and then like turning around and being like, who can I run this by before I go for it?
Right.
And I think that has been a challenge, and is definitely going to now step up a level of challenge, like taking over, like being academy manager, and no longer having someone in a higher up position to kind of turn just to double check everything with.
We still got us.
Well, yeah, of course, but I mean, just that, because especially when I first started, it was very much like, obviously I don't know anything, so obviously I'm going to ask a lot of questions. Whereas there comes a point where I'm like, I probably shouldn't need to ask questions about this as much. But then I'm still kind of uncertain. It's kind of deciding whether, should I be uncertain about this? Should I be asking these questions? Or is it like, this is a lack of confidence is the issue? And it's kind of working out which those are, and not making any reckless decisions, being like, oh, it's just because I'm not confident in myself, I have to go with it, and then making the wrong decision. But I think that's life in general, isn't it? Just making wrong decisions and, yeah, using your initiative and things. That's been hard. That's definitely a challenge.
What have you pulled on? What have you? Okay, what's been difficult in terms of like, what have you had to go, right, I need to really get better at this, or I need to go away and have a think about this, or? I didn't realize I wasn't as good as I thought.
The main one is definitely being asked to do things and then forgetting to do them. Because I've always been quite good at like holding things in my head, like a list of things I need to do, or like someone's told me that, right, logged, cool, and I'll do it at this time. And then someone has to prompt me, someone's had to remind me, and I'm like, why have I forgotten to do that? Why is that? In what
context though? In a working environment?
Yeah, I think just in things like, for example, like, you know how we send out the message to the academy students on a Friday to tell them about what's happening on Saturday, and just forgetting to do it. And having Rebecca message me like, oh, just remind us to pop that message in. I'm I knew that was happening. I knew that needed to happen. But I remembered it a day early that I needed to do it, or that it hasn't. I'm like, why has that not stuck in my brain that I need to do that? Why has that not clicked yet? Maybe that's the thing with time, or maybe it's just because I need to be more on it. Maybe like need to just set reminders on my phone, set alarms on my phone, set these things to prompt me. And I think I definitely thought I was better at that than I have been. Yeah.
What advice would you give someone out there who's trying to get into the arts in terms of what you feel has gone right for you in terms of your approach to connecting with us, now working for us, and now we'd say succeeding with us? Because success is a journey, it's not a destination. People think, oh, I arrive here and I'm successful. No, as you are doing, you're successful, and you are being successful. I'm saying that from the top down. So what habits have you had to embrace to be in that situation? Because I know there's going to be people listening to this thinking, okay, I want to get into an arts organization, I want to work my way up, etc. What do you think you've fallen back on?
I think for me a thing was in terms of working in an organization, like behind the scenes kind of thing, which is what I said to you right at the beginning, is what I wanted to learn about, was that by choosing that, you're not choosing, by doing that, you're not like abandoning a love for being on stage necessarily. Right. Because like there's still part of me that does want to be on stage, and I'm still doing performances, but then by doing sort of administration, it doesn't neglect that side of your life. It's not a choice. It can be, but it doesn't have to be a choice between one or the other, which is, I think, so important. That there's so many people who want to go to dance school and love performing, love dancing, and I think so many people are focused on that there's this whole other side of the arts that is kind of but I don't want to do administration, I want to be a performer. It's like, great, well, you can also do both. And I think it's the kind of norm that people who are performers, they do other part-time jobs on the side of like waitressing, bar work and stuff, which is great stuff, but like a lot of people just don't enjoy it. And it's cool. You feel like you've got to, as part of the performer art student thing, is that you've got to work in a bar, work in a pub or something on the side. But it's like, try and find something in your industry that you could do not do on the side, because this isn't like a side job, but it can complement as well. It doesn't have to be a one or the other situation, I think is what I'm trying to say.
So here's one of the last questions, because we're coming up to the news hour again. Do you want to go back into performing? Is that something you want to do, and is it something you think you can have the time to do?
I don't think it's a case of like going back to. I think I've found very naturally the two have kind of run side by side. Okay. For me. So you're still being fulfilled in terms of... Yeah, definitely. Okay. Like I don't have a full-time performing job, but that's also, I think, body-wise, is not something I really want to do at this point. Yeah. But I'm still in a space where I have my creative side projects. I've got ways of dancing on the side to this job that fulfills my need to dance and my need for creativity. It maybe wouldn't fulfill everyone, but like that is enough for me. That I feel like that's great that all of the things I'm doing can be under the bracket of dance, whether that's performing, creating, or working. Amazing. Well, it's been amazing talking to you on the youth debate. Now, youth can mean lots of different things. How young do you want to be? But it's been amazing talking to you, Clara Cowen. I got it right that time. Got my mouth around it. And I hope those people who've been listening have taken something from this conversation, and we're looking forward to obviously recommencing work with you in September, getting the new academy up and ready for the Christmas show. If you don't know what we're talking about Impact Dance, Impact Youth. If you want to know more about Impact and what we do, you can check us out on www.impactdance.co.uk.